Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Thank you so much for choosing to listen, download, and share this podcast. I truly appreciate it. I would just ask if you could take a quick moment to rate and leave a review for the podcast. I know that you can do this on Apple and Spotify, and if you are able to do it on whatever device that you listen to the podcast, I would greatly appreciate it. It just helps me to reach more people, be able to help more people, which is definitely my end goal. I want to be able to help and support as many people as I can out there. And also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topic suggestions, or you just want to say hi to me, I suggest that you go ahead and send me a DM or a message on Instagram, and I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo on Instagram, or you can go ahead and email me. And if you need the spellings on my email or my Instagram, please check the description box below with all the notes for the show. And I cannot wait to hear from you. I'd really look forward to it. And yeah, just come say hi. I would love to talk to you, chat with you. I'm also thinking about starting to do like a giveaway where if you do come and chat with me or just say hi, I'll just send random people coffee cards or, little Amazon cards or something like that. Because I just appreciate you even taking the time out of your day to listen, but also to just come and, kind of communicate with me. But yeah, again, I appreciate you downloading, sharing, and listening. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the episode. Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Just so you know, this week we are talking about encouragements for the year, and today, Thursday, we are going to talk about stay steady in your emotions. But before we jump into it, I want to encourage you to try the 5-minute reset. If you are new here and you don't know what the 5-minute reset is, it is the opportunity to reset, reboot, restart your day, and all you have to do is take 5 minutes of your time. Take more if you need it, but take at least 5 minutes to be alone. It allows you to take some time to take a break from any issues or burdens that are dragging you down, causing you problems, also to come up with any resolutions for any problems that you're dealing with. And I always encourage everyone to come up with a list of at least 4 things that you are grateful for, because creating a gratitude list daily with or without the 5-minute reset is so helpful, and it really can help your mindset be in the best fit for your day. You can be grateful for big, small, or medium-sized things. You can be grateful for the beautiful blooming trees outside. Maybe your garden is growing. Maybe you are grateful that you were able to make time to go to the grocery store, or maybe you are grateful that one of your sports teams recently won a game. Like, you can literally be grateful for anything and everything, which makes the list never ending, which is absolutely fantastic. And last but not least, make sure you're feeling at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of your day. Hopefully, reflecting on things that you are grateful for and appreciate will switch and shift your mindset so that you will focus on more positive things, which will help you get through those hard, struggling, negative times if you are dealing with those. But I do hope that on this Thursday you're having a good day, and let's just jump right into our episode. So today we are talking about stay steady in your emotions, and today I want to briefly mention keeping your emotions in order. And I know this doesn't really sound like an encouragement, but it is, because it can help you have a great year, I believe, and practice self-awareness, which is something that I will forever go on and on about, because self-awareness is one of those things that will help you understand yourself more, really be in tune with the way that you're thinking and acting, and the things that it'll help you to interpret the reason why you do certain things when you're going for your goals and dreams and trying to achieve things, and the reason that you will react to certain situations, and being able to understand who you are and how your past has affected you and how things in the future may affect you. So self-awareness is a beautiful thing, but having your emotions in control can also aid in more happiness rather than a negative alternative if your feelings are all over the place. And I feel like when our feelings are on a roller coaster and they're just up, down, all around, it's really hard to grasp on to happiness and joy that's not faked. I feel like a lot of people, including myself, when I was super depressed, I would definitely fake happiness and joy all the time, and it was mostly for other people, not myself. I honestly was used to feeling down and sad and depressed and having negative thoughts, but it was more about appeasing the people that I was facing and spending time with, like my husband and my friends and my daughter. And I didn't want people to be worried about me because, once people start worrying and talking about how the way that you're acting is affecting them, or how the way that you're acting is just seems out of sorts, wrong, questionable, you don't want to have to continue to hear those comments because they're not helpful. And also, having those judgmental comments continue to flow in is not really going to help you feel any better and have true, genuine happiness, so you'd fake it. But what I'm talking about is having your emotions in control to have actual pure joy and happiness that's just naturally flowing from you. And I feel like that's a goal that we all want, despite what we're all going through. So with such a different kind of year behind us, with whatever happened, I feel like, struggles happened, tragedies happened, hard things happened, but lots of growth and opportunity also happened. But with that difficult year behind us and possibly more struggles in front of us before we return to a quote unquote new normal status, it's important to keep your emotions in check so you aren't constantly overwhelmed or on an emotional roller coaster. Because I feel like, with a lot of the things that creep up, I feel like we're all kind of on our guard, or anything that continues to happen is like no surprise now with what a lot of people experienced and saw and witnessed in 2020. But still, it's hard when you feel like things are going to go well, because I feel like a lot of people came into 2021 with a lot of hope, and if things are continuing to be tough and rough and hard to deal with, your emotions can be all over the place and feeling overwhelmed. And so I want to, talk about how we can kind of be on top of that, And I don't think I need to talk too much about emotions today, since it's the bulk of what I talk about all the time. So we are just going to jump right into the short list of how to keep your emotions in check. But if you are new here, just know that you can go back into the archives anytime and just look at all the topics that I've already spoken about. I will continue to talk about emotions because that is one of the biggest things here, to really break those down and understand them for ourselves so that we can be in control, not in a controlling fashion, but you know what I mean? Just be on top of it. So yeah, I encourage you to do that. But let's just go ahead and jump into the short list. I have about 5 tips, suggestions that I would give you to stay on top of your emotions. So first, don't avoid your emotions. Face them head on. And I think this is something that I talk about a lot. A lot of people will speak on this. It's important for you to not run from your emotions, because they will catch up with you. I believe it was a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, I get kind of caught up in, like, I don't know time anymore. It's weird. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. But within the last 2 weeks, I believe that I spoke about how if you do continue to avoid your emotions, it's kind of like sweeping a bunch of like dust under the rug to hide it, because you're like, oh, I'll get to it later. I don't really have time for it. And then one day you will turn around and look under that to sweep something else under that rug, and it'll be so full, and it will just all like explode like a volcano. It'll just be so all encompassing because you just continue to avoid it, and then you have to deal with it all at once, as opposed to just dealing with things as they come. And it can be really hard in the beginning if you're not used to doing that. It can be really difficult for you to understand the point and the meaning of actually facing your emotions. But again, you don't want to have to deal with a whole bunch of crap that's happened in the past all at once it finally all comes tumbling down, which it will. Know this, I am promising you that it will at some point, no matter what, it will. It'll just explode and you won't know when. So you might as well just deal with it. I encourage you. You might think like, oh no, it's been like 10 years. It hasn't happened yet. It will happen. Like, it's just, there hasn't been that final like push under the rug yet for it to all come crashing down. It will. It's not healthy for you, right? How are you learning more about yourself and engaging in self-awareness if you're not dealing with your emotions? So it's important for you not to avoid them. It's important for you just deal with them head on. Wow, I'm getting like ahead of myself in my words, can you tell? And it'll help you understand yourself more. And then if those are emotions and feelings that you don't particularly enjoy engaging in, then it'll help you point yourself into a different direction and reaction whenever the trigger comes up. You know what I mean? So first off, just remember, don't avoid them, face them head on. Next. And just so you know, these aren't in any particular order or anything. They're just next, because it was the easiest way for me to indicate the next idea for you. So next, it's important to ask yourself if your current emotions are helpful or hurtful. So you need to determine if what you are currently feeling is something you should continue to engage in or something you need to shut down. So just because I put in the option for you to shut an emotion down, I'm not saying that you would be avoiding it or trying to run from it. It would just be more of like, do I really need to continue in this self-hate, saying all these negative things about myself in my mind? No, that is harmful to me. That is not helpful. As opposed to, someone has passed away. I am sad. I am crying. Okay, it is okay for me to feel sad about this. And it's okay for me to cry and get that out. But then I also need to make sure that I don't let those emotions take over the whole facet of how I'm feeling in my whole life. There has to come a point where you realize that your emotions are just going to need a break, and you're going to need a break if you actually are going to be able to take that step back and have a wider perspective of, okay, well, I feel this way, and is there any other way that I could feel about this that would help me to get on the road to healing, as opposed to just sitting in sadness the whole time, kind of like seeing if there's any gratitudes or silver linings that I could apply to this situation, which is something that I love to do. It's actually a practice that I try to do in every situation. I feel like it helps me to not dwell on the negative so much. I used to have the biggest problem when I was super into my depression, that I would just sit in that sadness and that anger and that pain, and I thought it was like the only thing I could do, and I thought I really had to like wait it out, and I feel like I'm not the only person that had thought that way or does think that way now. It's important for you to realize that you can go through those hard emotions and accept them and kind of like flow through them, but there's going to have to be a point where you're going to have to leave those, and you might return at another time that you feel drawn in, but you're going to have to make an exit from those and choose another emotion to have that can help you get on the road to recovery and feeling better and feeling more stable and being able to continue on with your normal life after taking this little break to experience these emotions. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's important for you to really be able to identify if whatever emotions you're feeling are helpful or harmful. So if they're harmful, like saying negative things about yourself and bashing yourself, and just telling yourself that you're a failure, you're a fraud, you're not going to be able to amount to anything, you're ugly, you're stupid, like anything that's negative like that, you need to shut it down. It's not like you're running from it. You're not. You're acknowledging to your feelings, hey, this is not how I want to feel. This is not helping anything. This is making me feel worse. It's harmful to who I am. We are going to stop doing that, and we are going to switch to something else. I'm going to tell myself that, yes, I may be feeling like a loser. I may be feeling like I am not going to amount to anything. However, let me just mention a couple things that I have really succeeded in lately. Let me pick up some bright spots and some blessings that are actually happening in my life. Let me point out how grateful I am about this, that, and the other, and let me really think about a couple compliments that I have received lately. And you really need to stop engaging in the negative behavior and push more into a positive, and so that you can quickly come away from those harmful emotions. But if they are helpful and they're going to help you grieve, or they're going to help you get through that painful time, engage in them and then find a way to exit at some point so that you can continue on and not get stuck in that hole. The next one is to plan some time to worry or freak out or stress out in a comfortable and controlled environment. So I feel like this is really helpful, especially for people that deal with a lot of stress or anxiety. If you know that something is you're just feeling so overwhelmed and you want to freak out, and you feel like that when you do freak out, it kind of gives you an opportunity to express like a whole lot of emotions all at once. It's important for you to plan some time out for you to do that. If you feel like that helps you, and you know that it's not going to get you all caught up in feeling those feelings continuously without being able to get out of that loop, then you can schedule some time. You can even set a timer. I suggest you do, so you don't get too stuck. And then do it in a place where you feel comfortable but in control of the situation. Set a timer for 5 5-10 minutes, whatever you need. If you want someone else to join you in that, invite them if they feel comfortable to do so. And then get all your stresses out. Like, say everything out loud that you're feeling stressed about, that you're feeling overwhelmed about, that you really just need to get off your chest. And then, once you actually say it out loud and not keep it too cooped up, it'll give your mind a chance to really figure out, like, okay, well, how can we problem solve this? How can we get past this? What can we do about these feelings that we're having that feel very chaotic, and we want to kind of like exit them from our bodies? So that's why I would say you pick some time, say them out loud, get them out of you so that you are validating that you are feeling this way, which is completely fine and acceptable. But then you're not holding it all in and resulting in your body like feeling all of that stress in a physical way as opposed to just in your mind, and that can just push you to the max even more. So I encourage you to find some time in a quiet, comfortable, controlled space, maybe with someone else if you want, to really have that time to worry, to stress out, to freak out, and then be done with it. And you can do this maybe on a daily basis if you have a really stressful life, or weekly or monthly, whatever suits you best. The next one is to find a distraction or have one at the ready. I suggest this only if you understand what you are feeling and don't need to continue any reflection on those feelings. So in regards to finding a distraction or have one at the ready, if you are feeling really, really weighing, heavy, deep emotions, and you are having a hard time pulling yourself out of that hole of darkness and sadness, and where you're trying to feel through all the emotions and validate them, but you're having a hard time exiting them, moving on from them for at least a time, then you need to have a distraction, something that will bring you joy and happiness, something that is usually fun, and something that, will distract you from what you're thinking about. So maybe there's a game that you like to play, or maybe there's a TV show that you love to watch, or maybe you can just like hop out and do a workout, A lot of times when I'm stressed, I like to work out. Luckily, we have some stuff set up in the gym, so I'm able to like go for a run or have a lift or do whatever I need to do to kind of like, let out some of that stress and steam, but then also distract myself. Maybe you also like to write, or you like to garden, or you will take your dog for a walk and listen to a podcast or a book on your phone or whatever. Just find a distraction, and if you find that it's hard for you to pull yourself out of these moods, emotions, feelings that you're having, I would make sure that you have a couple distractions at the ready that you can just jump on, that will distract you and pull you away, and then that will kind of give your mind time to shift its mindset and realize that was kind of a dark hole that you were in, or that was kind of like a little pit that you put yourself in, and it's really good that you got yourself out so you can kind of see the situation of how you feel from a different perspective, and hopefully that'll help you heal and move on from that. Lastly, the last suggestion I have is to shift your perspective and incorporate appreciation. So in the last one, I did talk about, shifting your mindset by having a distraction, but also if you have the power to acknowledge how you're feeling, validate those feelings, but also if you feel like they are going to pull you in, or they just feel so overwhelming and so much and a little out of control or getting there, then I would encourage you to practice being able to shift your perspective in the moment and apply appreciation for your life. So if you are having a bad day and work was really hard, or maybe a pet just passed away, or maybe a friend passed away, family member, maybe you're having a financial problem. Okay, these are all problems. These are all hard things that people go through on the regular. But what I would do is I would take a step back. And I know this is going to be really hard to do in the beginning, and you will have to work your way up to it, because it's not just like some magic thing that you can just do if you're not practiced in doing it. I will admit that it can be really hard at first, because it's so much harder just to like fall into your emotions, especially the negative ones, as opposed to taking a step back and realizing, okay, I don't need to be like swimming in them the whole time. I can see them, feel them, validate them, understand them, but still have a different perspective so that I can become stronger and be able to endure this hard time. So I would encourage you to be able to shift your perspective and realize, okay, is there a positive to this? Is there a silver lining? Is there some sort of gratitude or appreciation that I can apply to this situation? An example would be is that my daughter told me that her best friend's cat was being put down. And this is really sad because she had actually gotten close to this cat when she spends time over there. And, the family loved the cat, obviously. But it was a sad situation, and so I was like, this is sad. And, it's okay to be sad and it's okay to cry if you want and feel the way you want. And she was like, yeah, and that's something that we talk about a lot because I don't want her to feel like she has to hide her emotions or anything like that. But I was also like, but you know what we should do? We should find something positive to think about for this cat. And I was telling her, I was like, you know how we're going on vacation, and luckily her best friends are actually going on vacation with us soon, pretty soon in a couple of weeks. And I was like, at least they were able to figure out that the cat is really sick and having to be put down before we go on our trip, and not having to learn this information like while we're away, and the possibility that was pretty high because of how long and how far away we're all going. And so the cat apparently was like super, super sick and like, like all these things, all these issues with the cat. And so it was better to put the cat down, unfortunately, because just she wouldn't be any more pain. And so I was really just trying to find like a positive, like a perspective for her to shift to, an appreciation of like, well, at least this happens now. There's going to be time for goodbyes. And, we're not going to be away on our vacation and then get a call and your friend get a call and like feel like this whole thing will be a downer on their vacation because they found out that the cat had to be put down without them being able to say goodbye. So that's what I mean about like shifting your perspective and also having appreciation. So the appreciation in that moment would be like, well, at least there's time for goodbyes, but also for her specifically, since it's not our cat, the appreciation would be for her is that, well, at least you got time to get to know her, because she said at the beginning of their relationship that they didn't like each other. And then over time, the cat loved her and she loved the cat too. It's like her cat too, at their house. And I was like, at least you got to have time to get to know the cat, to love the cat, for the cat to love you. You had that time together. And, at least they were able to get a new cat recently, so they don't feel like, like now they don't have any pets or anyone to love and care on and all of these things. So I just encourage you that if you are having a hard time managing your emotions, staying steady in your emotions, being on top of them, and you just really, and you are able to like clearly see through your emotions, like that you need to move on from them, or they could get out of whack or overwhelming, that practice shifting your perspective and also finding some sort of appreciation in the moment. And I understand that could seem really fake to some people, because you're like, well, why would you apply gratitude? It doesn't seem like that would be totally authentic, because, you're just making the situations sound like it's not as bad as it is, or diminishing people's feelings, rather. That's what I was trying to get to. So you're not diminishing people's feelings. You're just trying to find something to be grateful for and know that, the situation can be sad. It's fine. You can have feelings of sadness and anger and anything. But I think it helps you to have a different perspective, if you can, and have appreciation and gratitude, because then it won't let you suck you in and feel all of these negative things only. You are adding in some positives, adding in some blessings, and realizing that it wasn't just all for nothing. Because I feel like that's the mentality that people get with negative things. They think it's, oh wow, this is all for nothing. This is terrible. Why is this happening to me? Woe is me. But then you're like, but, I was able to have all this time, or I was able to learn this thing and grow here, or I was able to know that person, or, it's a good thing that we do have some savings, or we do have this kind of plan to move forward. Like, it'll help you to not get stuck in that negative place, which is not what you want to do. You want to be able to continue to move through your life, because we all go through really hard seasons, and those seasons are going to teach us the most, and we don't want to get stuck there because we think that we are all of a sudden unworthy and just at the bottom, and there's no way to fight to get back up. There absolutely is. You might not even be on the bottom. It just might feel like it for a moment, but if you really take a step back, change your perspective, you'll see. It's just a momentary like bump in the road. That's all it is. That's all it is. So, okay, you guys, well, that's all I have to share with this topic today. Come back tomorrow where we're going to talk about care less what others think. I love talking about this because it's really a reminder for me as well as for you guys. So it's a bonus. But yeah, so thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, my name is Sabrina. Again, check the description box for notes for the show, where to find me on IG, and my email. But I hope you come back tomorrow. But until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.